The end of Gareth Southgate's tenure as England manager means that Lee Carsley is in interim charge. His squad are training now ahead of a Nations League doubleheader. Let's go live to St George's Park and speak to our senior reporter, Rob Dorsett. Rob, good morning then. Are we expecting revolution or a few gentle tweaks under Lee Carsley?
Well, look, I think the selection, the squad selection that he made had some elements of revolution about it, didn't it? But let's move and show you the new interim England manager, shall we? He's just through the net, which is always makes it tricky for our camera operator. But there he is, Lee Carsley, with his backroom staff. You can see on the right there, look, Ashley Cole with the clipboard, one of his backroom team, and Jolyon Lescott there as well. And the other guy there is Tim Dittmer, who's the FA's head of coaching, who's also part of Lee Carsley's backroom staff as things are right now. So first time we've seen Lee Carsley out on the men's senior pitch taking charge of an England training session. He did that yesterday away from the cameras for the first time, but it's the first time that the media have been able to see him in position. And I think, look, we heard him do his first news conference in that role, didn't we, on Thursday last week when he named that squad, and I thought he did really, really well. Bit of a nervous start where he checked his notes a little bit, but he fielded some very difficult questions where he was pressed on whether he wants the job full-time or not, and asked a lot about his heritage, because, of course, the man in the middle of your picture played 40 times for the Republic of Ireland. Despite being born in Birmingham, he does have Irish family. And of course, the fixture list has thrown up that his first game in charge of the England senior team is Republic of Ireland away. So he was asked about what it would be like to go back to Dublin, and he said he's looking forward to it. And why wouldn't he? This is a really big opportunity for Lee Carsley. The impression I get is that he's incredibly highly thought of as a coach from the FA's perspective. Remember, he won the Under-21s European Championships last summer. And so there's no doubt that he has a great relationship and a great tactical nous, especially with some of the young players that he's brought into this squad. I think the question mark from the FA's perspective is, can he cope with the magnitude of the job and the media spotlight that he's going to be under? And his first news conference the other day was a really positive start, I think you have to say.
Let's talk about some of those that are missing, Rob, and I think any Premier League manager would say this is not a particularly popular time of year to have an international break, just 3 games into a new club season, and therefore it's never a particularly big surprise that there are a few missing when this squad is named, then eventually England get out onto the pitch.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's why the likes of Kyle Walker weren't even considered for the selection for the squad in the first place. Remember that a lot of these England players that were at Germany and made it all the way to the Euros final are still going through a kind of staged return to play and fitness with their clubs, a lot of them. Declan Rice has played every game for Arsenal, but a lot of the others haven't. And so when we heard that Phil Foden, Cole Palmer and Ollie Watkins had withdrawn from the squad last night, I don't think there were any huge surprises about that. We know that Phil Foden has been ill. We don't know much of the detail about Palmer and Watkins. It may be just loading that they've been talking to, that the FA medics have been talking to the club medics about. But that's a big blow to Lee Carsley. Let's not beat about the bush. This is an audition for him, and to lose those key players I think is a real shame, but it does give huge opportunities to some of the other new faces out there. And you look at Angel Gomez and Morgan Gibbs-White in particular vying for that number 10 position, and bear in mind that Jude Bellingham isn't in this squad. Now Foden and Palmer have both withdrawn from this squad. What a huge opportunity that gives to Angel Gomez and Morgan Gibbs-White, who both play as 10. I think Gomez has been playing in more of a withdrawn role than that for Lille last season and the start of this season. He's more of a quarterback. Quarterback is the way I would describe him. But you can see Harry Kane on the left of your picture there, and there's Angel Gomez. Look, first time we've seen him training with the men's senior team. A diminutive figure, but boy, has Lee Carsley praised his technical ability, and he's done a fantastic job, you have to say, in Ligue 1. He's so good on the ball. He's so inventive, so creative. I don't think it's any surprise that Lee Carsley wanted him in his first squad. Knows him very well from the under-21s, of course. But as I say, Gomez hasn't been playing as a number 10, whereas Morgan Gibbs-White has been very much playing as a number 10 for Nottingham Forest. And so will it be Gibbs-White who starts in that number 10 position? There isn't a great deal of other options for Lee Carsley now that Palmer and Foden have both withdrawn. There's Morgan Gibbs-White, look. And he's been waiting for this opportunity. He's made it pretty clear on social media on a number of occasions that he wants this opportunity to play for England. And he is the first Nottingham Forest player to be called up for the men's senior England squad since 1997. Guess who the last guy was? Stuart Pearce, England legend that he is. So a big moment for Gibbs White to see him out there, and for all Nottingham Forest fans. His guile, his passing ability, he scores goals as well. A really good option for Lee Carsley, you have to say. But while we're talking about goal scorers, let's just pan across and see if we can find Harry Kane, who's just to the left of that group. Harry Kane is now the only striker left, the proper number 9. He's doing his best to hide behind that pole, isn't he? But he's not quite managing it. Harry Kane, England captain, the only proper number 9 left in this squad now that Ollie Watkins has withdrawn. So you'd fully expect him to start the game in Dublin on Saturday night. But Lee Carsley doesn't have many other striker options. Interesting that Carsley, when he won the under 21s European Championships last summer, often played with a false 9. He often didn't have a striker on the pitch. So that's why this is so interesting and exciting now, seeing England training out here with a new interim manager. It feels fresh, it feels new, and we don't not quite know what the new manager's going to do yet. Anthony Gordon in the middle of your picture there, by the way. He was the man who played as a false 9 in the under-21s when England won that European Championship. So you wonder what he's thinking right now after Ollie Watkins has withdrawn.
Just on the point then, Rob, about picking players who he knows from the under-21 squad, it was something that Gareth Southgate did in his time in charge. And there was a lot made of the fact that Luis de la Fuente, who won the Euros with Spain, was also using players who he knew a lot about from the various age groups he'd worked with.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Lee Carsley was asked about that, and he said, look, don't start putting the pressure on me in that regard. But I think, look, if this was Italy or Spain or Germany, then Lee Carsley might have already got the job by now. The England manager's job, the senior team's manager's job, is a bit different, isn't it? And that's why I think the FA just want to see how Carsley copes in the ambassadorial role that it demands as well. But he's been brave in some of those decisions. You just saw Jack Grealish, that he's recalled to the side here, who wasn't in the Euro squad, of course. And some other brave decisions as well. A first call-up for Tino Livramento, a first call-up for Noni Madueke, who's had a flying start for Chelsea. As well, you can see Livramento at the back right there of that group, look. And Livramento, of course, with Kieran Trippier having retired from international football, what an opportunity for him. Of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold is back in this squad, and Carsley made it very, very clear that as far as he's concerned, Trent Alexander-Arnold is a right-back. He won't be tried as a midfielder, so that might... There's Alexander-Arnold, look. So that might make it more difficult for Livramento to make his England senior debut, but I think he will get that opportunity at some point over the next 2 matches, whether that's Ireland in Dublin on Saturday or Finland at Wembley on Tuesday. And we mentioned Madueke there. What a start to the season he's had for Chelsea. He knows Carsley very well from the under-21s, of course. We know Enzo Maresco loves blooding youth, as does Lee Carsley, and Madueke has benefited from that. Madueke was actually criticised by the Chelsea boss a fortnight or so ago when he told him he wanted to be more consistent, and he responded with a hat-trick against Wolves, his first senior hat-trick. There he is in the middle of that group, look. And so a big moment for Noni Madueke there. First time we've seen him out on the senior training pitch as well. As I say, it all feels a bit different from the Gareth Southgate era, not just because Southgate isn't here and there's a different manager in charge, but also because of the personnel that are out there, Rob.
Just to pick up on Jack Grealish as well, Rob, it's quite interesting. His former Villa teammate who they went through the academy with, Callum Robinson, who plays for the Republic of Ireland, said it could be quite a spicy reception, should we say, but given that Jack played youth football for the Republic of Ireland before switching to go and play for England. You feel like that might be the sort of thing that gets his juices flowing, and he will have a big point to prove after being left out in the summer.
Absolutely, yeah, and so will Declan Rice. I mean, look, you've got a few connections here. You've got Jack Grealish and Declan Rice there, just on your right. Look, he just came into shot perfectly on cue. Both of those played youth football for the Republic of Ireland. In fact, Declan Rice made 3 senior caps for the Republic of Ireland side. So for those two and for Lee Carsley, I think it'll be a pretty hostile reception at the Aviva Stadium on Saturday. They can expect that, and this is not an easy game for England. Yes, they've been relegated to Group B of the Nations League, and then yes, they're playing the Republic of Ireland, who are 58th in the FIFA World Rankings, but a Republic of Ireland at home with a new manager in charge, don't forget. They've got Jaime Hallgrimsson, who took over in July, so his first game in charge. This will be a difficult prospect for England, and this is an audition for Lee Carsley in the new role, in the interim role, but it's an audition for those players as well. England need to get off to a good start in the Nations League after going out in the final of the Euros. And so it's a big occasion for all of them. A big chance for Jack Grealish to prove what he can do. Of course, he's from Birmingham, as is Lee Carsley. They've got a similar accent, the two of them. But they're from either sides of the city. Of course, Lee Carsley is on the blue side with Birmingham, and Jack Grealish very much was on the other side with Aston Villa, and his family support Aston Villa. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting couple of games for all of those players that we're talking about. Harry Maguire, recalled to the England squad, having missed out on the Euros as well. Playing a lot of game time for Manchester United, but didn't start against Liverpool at the weekend. Had to come off the bench in the last 20 minutes. Again, a chance for him to impress and try and prove. And Lee Carsley said he wants this backbone of experienced players still in the squad. So what will he do for a starting 11? Really interesting to see. We'll get a few more of these live pictures for you. We've only got a couple of minutes of the open session left. And then later on, we've been talking about Angel Gomez. He will be speaking to the media live at about 2:30, I think it is. 3:30, I beg your pardon. 3:30, Angel Gomez will be talking to the media live. First time he'll be speaking as a senior England player. He's a great character and he'll be a really good talker. So join us for that one later on. We'll bring it to you live on Sky Sports News.
Rob, thank you very much. We will leave with pictures of new coach and captain combination Lee Carsley there, just next to Harry Kane at St George's Park. And as Rob said, we will hear from Angel Gomez a little later on today, 3:30 here on Sky Sports News. Well,